What is up, guys? It is Joe. We are back. We're talking ball about the Cats today, specifically about the transfer portal, one of my favorite things to discuss. And we're going to talk about one player that is visiting K-State as well as one that is already committed to K-State. In today's video, I'm going to get into that and more here in a sec. Before I do, quick reminder to subscribe if you like the channel, if you like K-State athletics. I talk ball about the Cats. It's the offseason. We don't have a ton of stuff going on, but we're finding a way to get through it together. Now, that being said, I'm going to start today's video off with a quick story. Now, K-State added Max Jones to the transfer portal through Cal State Fullerton, and there wasn't a ton of game film out on the kid. Like, obviously, he's played a lot of college basketball, and he's had some really good moments, but there isn't many highlights that are relative to his time at Cal State Fullerton. Not saying he doesn't have them, but it just hasn't been put on YouTube, hasn't been broadcasted much. It's been a lot of, like, all right, outdated high school highlights, or you'll get the occasional clip of him from Cal State Fullerton that's, him taking on Nebraska, or a minute 16 here. There wasn't anything definitive. So, throughout the portal process this offseason, I've been able to kind of start a relationship with some of the guys over at the Portal Report, and there's a lot of cool dudes that work there, a lot of great people over there. And I requested them specifically to do a video on Max Jones, doing the highlight video breakdown. And believe it or not, 2 days later, they answered my prayers. Now, K-State fans have a better look at the type of player Max Jones is, and I'm going to show that to you here now as we continue to talk about Max Jones. First things first, shout out to my guys over at the Portal Report. I really appreciate them doing this for me. So not just for me, obviously. This is also a really cool thing for K-State fans, but like in my case, I've seen him play a couple of times. I saw the Nebraska game. I went back and watched that, but there isn't a ton of access to the highlights specifically. Unless you have that kind of access, I don't have that, or at least not yet. Maybe one day we'll get there, but either way, shout out to my guys over there. They did a great job of putting this together, and I'm so grateful for them doing that. So that's why in this video, you're getting to see some of these highlights is they went back and made the Max Jones video after he committed. So let me just jump in on stats here a little bit before, just to give you an idea of the type of player he is. Last season, the 6'4", 210-pound senior at Cal State Fullerton averaged 15.3 points, 3 rebounds per game, and 1.9 assists per game, while shooting 38.5% from three. First things first, K-State has done a great job of adding shooters. I mean, everybody that they've added to the portal is like a 36 or 37% shooter or better. Obviously, you have C.J. Jones, who shot fire in the second half of the season. Doug McDaniel's a talented shooter. You've got guys like Brendan Housen, who lives and dies by the three. That guy is a stud. But you continue to find guys like Max Jones who do a little bit of everything. Now, in this video, there were two comparisons that immediately just smacked me in the mouth, and I'm going to explain them a little bit in detail here. The first one, I've been watching the NBA playoffs. I assume you have as well. If not, the first comparison that comes to my mind for Max Jones, maybe this is awful, maybe it's not. His game reminds me a lot of the way Josh Hart plays for the New York Knicks. Now, Josh Hart, there's a lot of memes about him just throwing every opportunity to the wall to get an offensive rebound, but Josh Hart's a 6'5 guard, similar size to Max Jones being 6'4", 210. He plays the game at one speed. He plays it at his speed, and he doesn't speed up, he doesn't slow down. He plays the game comfortably at his own speed. That's what I see with Max Jones. And then specifically for K-State fans, if you're not an NBA fan, I understand. Some people have that comparison or that block in their mind of like, well, the NBA is all dunks or 3 points. I don't want to watch that type of basketball. I don't agree with that. However, a good comparison for K-State fans that may not be as familiar with the NBA, how about our guy Desi Sills? I know Desi was a little bit of an undersized guy relative to what Max Jones is, but you're going to see a lot of the everyman type effort plays that Max Jones makes. So Max Jones, you'll see it in the video, he is the 85th percentile of all college basketball players with catch and shoot efficiency. That's something to love. Catch and shoot, the kid's gold. And at Cal State Fullerton, he didn't have a ton of assists, but obviously you see some of these flashy passes like the dude has a great court vision. He operated in the 82nd percentile of all college basketball players when, introduced to a ball screen situation, when he's operating as the primary ball handler in a ball screen. But I feel confident in saying he's going to be similar to the Desi Sills type role where he can be like an 8 and 5 guy. Like that's an easy thing for him with potential to grow even on top of that. So I don't want to put a cap there on Max Jones and say, he's going to average 32 minutes a game or anything, but I'm also not going to sit here and say, well, it's like it's going to be like a Tyke Green where he comes off the bench occasionally. I think Max Jones slots perfectly in between those two with the ability to be any type of player he can be. So not a ton of people have been sticking up for our staff through the transfer portal process, and I understand that. I'm not going to sit here and shun you for feeling bad about the roster, feeling whatever you want to feel, but I think it's important to give a guy like Max Jones his flowers because he is absolutely a great addition. That's the reason you saw Texas Tech get some interest there late. You saw a couple of different teams interested. Louisville was rumored, and there's a couple of different people pursuing him. But K-State landed a great player, and I know that we all have the recency bias of it's been a week since we've had a commit. What's going to happen? People freak out about that stuff. I also understand that, hey, we're still a little bit light at the big position. You don't have the big-bodied wings yet that you might need outside of, potentially Arthur Kaluma coming back, or, David Gasson's returning, obviously, but it depends how you view him as either a big or a wing. So people are a little bit still on the edge based off of the fact that we're still a little bit light when it comes to the front court. I'm not going to discourage you from thinking that. I think that's a fair criticism. It is what it is. But I'm not going to sit here and crucify them for adding good guys like Max Jones. That being said, this is where I'm going to go a little bit crazy. I'm going to go a little bit crazy, and you guys are going to call me stupid in the comment section for it here in a bit, and that's okay. It is what it is. It's my channel. That's why I feel this way. However, K-State has a kid visiting campus right now. He was in the thumbnail. You saw his picture. I'm going to attempt the name once because I don't know if I'm ever going to get the last name right until I hear it pronounced by somebody else first. I couldn't find it on video, so I'm just going to shoot it out there. K-State is hosting a JUCO forward. His name is Mobi Ikegwuruka. I don't know if that's entirely right. That's kind of on me, so I don't know the pronunciation yet. I will get that figured out. However, this is an absolute dude from the JUCO level. People are going to sit here and call me crazy because it's the JUCO level. Well, he hasn't had the talent. He hasn't played against top-tier talent. He hasn't played against, second-team NBA-type athleticism. That's the best way to describe the Big 12. I mean, it's the AAA of the NBA, if you want to say that. It's the best basketball conference in America for a reason. He's played against JUCO kids. These are guys from across the Midwest that won't make it to D1, that won't do this and that. I get all that. I hear all that. Let me tell you about this kid, because this kid is going to be someone I am higher on than just about everybody you will see. I'm going to tell you this right now. I get if you want to call me insane. I get if you want to call me crazy, but hear me out on this. And until it happens, I get if you're going to sit there and throw darts at me or say, this guy sucks. That's fine. This guy being me, not the kid, obviously. So Mobi is a freshman forward from Galway, Ireland. Shout out the Irish. He is one of the most athletic basketball players I have ever watched with my own two eyes. I know that might make people want to click off. Watch the tape before you hear me talk about him. I'll toss some highlights up here. There are so many highlights of this kid throwing somebody through the blender, dunking on top of four people, throwing down lobs where the dude is jumping higher than I've ever seen anyone jump, like outside of the NBA. That's the type of athleticism this kid has, and let me read you his numbers. Last season at Ellsworth Community College, the kid averaged 19.3 points per game. That's good for second in the league. 10.3 rebounds per game. That's good for first in the league. 2.1 steals per game, that's good for second in the league. 2.2 blocks per game, that's also good for second in the league. And 59.4% shooting from the field, that's good for fifth in terms of efficiency from the field. At Ellsworth, the kid was an absolute monster. You see him getting doubled and tripled at times in these highlight tapes. And there's 30 minutes of highlights for this kid clipped together. There's a full 20-minute long video you can watch. There's another 5-minute watch where the first clip, you see a guy turn around and has this look of surprise on his face like he's never seen anything like that. That's the type of player this guy is. Now, this isn't going to satisfy a lot of people that are like, hey, he's not a big, he's not a center, he's not whatever. I'm not worried about that right now, guys. This dude is an absolute monster if you add him. The 6'6", 210-pound Irish forward has 3 years of eligibility ahead, which is incredible to note, and a 7'1" wingspan at 6'6". Let me put that into perspective. Most people, when you check out your wingspan, I'm 5'11". I probably have a 6 foot or about a 6'1" wingspan. There is a 7-inch difference in this man's wingspan. He is incredibly long and athletic, dude. I'm watching him toss down highlights where he's going up and mossing 3 people. This is a kid that I am absolutely in love with as a basketball player. There's not many more people that you look at and you can compare this kid to. He's got literal Zion Williamson level athleticism, and I know what you're thinking. Buddy has that too, and I agree. I'm not trying to discredit Buddy, but just for reference, people are critical of the JUCO ranks. He's playing JUCO basketball at Ellsworth Community College. What is he doing, relative to others? The things when people say he can't make the jump, the things that transfer to better conferences or worse conferences, whatever the case is, shooting skills transfer, ball handling transfers, defense transfers. The issue is you can't keep up with the athletes around you. So in Tyler Perry's case, this is a good example. One of the nation's best shooters, he still was a great shooter at Kansas State, but all the windows that you're shooting from get a hair closer. TP's pulling up on a step back, and there's maybe 3 or 4 inches less space to shoot from because these guys are quicker, they're stronger, they're faster. So those are the things that people say, hey, can he make this jump? There is zero part of me that questions this kid's athleticism, his tenacity, his grit. I think this kid could be an unbelievable basketball player and a true diamond in the rough. Now, I know it's JUCO, whatever, it is what it is. Nae'Qwan Tomlin came from the JUCO ranks, and now he's dominating the NBA Scouting Combine. Called up from the G League Combine, now in the NBA Scouting Combine. I would be very surprised if Quan wasn't drafted on draft night and has a 10-year NBA career. That's the type of thing it is, which is also great for Kansas State basketball. Shout out Nae'Qwan Tomlin, man. Continue to follow your dreams. As a reference, and yes, these are different divisions of JUCO basketball, so take everything with a grain of salt. Nae'Qwan Tomlin at Chipola averaged 13.8 points and 5.9 rebounds on 52.4% shooting from the field. Like I said, Mobi averaged 19 and 10 and then was second in the league in both blocks and steals. The things that he does well are things you cannot teach. The things I never question about the kid. One, he's a talented defender. He's going to get out in transition, and you're not going to keep up with the kid. He rebounds well. He high points the basketball incredibly well. Similar to like Cam Carter. Obviously, they're different heights. I don't want to make it sound like Cam was an incredible rebounder, but for a 6'3 guard, Cam was flying over dudes with a huge vertical. That's the type of athleticism that Mobi has. And at the 6'6 spot, like, you leading the league in rebounds with 10.3 per game at 6'6" is incredible. When there's guys that are 6'10, 6'11, 7-footers, like there's a ton of dudes like that are, true rebounder type people. This guy has the athleticism and the effort to get there. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's going to be a first-team All-Big 12 type basketball player immediately. I'm not going to make that claim. I will give you this claim after telling you what the situation is with K-State. So JUCORecruiting.com posted this. This isn't something that I'm leaking or anything crazy like that. But the 6'6", 2024 prospect, Mobi Ikegwuruka, we'll learn that one as we get together, started an official visit to Kansas State today. That being Wednesday. It's Wednesday that I'm recording this. You're seeing this Thursday. In 2023-24, this is great to know, he was a Fab 50 freshman, an NJCAA All-American, averaging 19 points, 10.3 boards, like I said, 2.2 blocks on 60% shooting from the field, and shot 50% from three. Now, there's a criticism I understand and I'll hear. He didn't shoot a ton of threes, but that's something you can work on, see where the kid's at. He hasn't had a ton of coaching. He's a recent adaptation of the game of basketball. Like, similar to Nae'Qwan, he didn't play basketball till an old age. Like, I'm pretty sure Mobi didn't start playing basketball till 13 years old. So Jerome Tang is going to be the coach that's going to get him the foundation that he needs to be that type of player. My one guarantee, I will Charles Barkley this moment and say guarantee. You can laugh, you can point, you can do whatever. Hear me out on this. This kid's upside, this kid's athleticism, this kid's rebounding, his energy, his effort, at some point throughout the season, this upcoming season, you will see the kid's name in the starting lineup. I know people are sitting there thinking, well, he's probably getting here for 4 minutes a game. He's going to get, very limited minutes as the forward position. I'm pretty dang high on this kid, and I could absolutely see him starting at the 3 guard. Some of you are going to hear that and think negatively and say, well, we're screwed if we have a JUCO kid starting at the 3 guard. Give this kid time. Give him the benefit of the doubt. If he ends up at Kansas State, I would be over the moon excited. That's how I stand on Mobi, and I'm praying K-State gets it. With the addition, if they are able to seal the deal, they'd still have 3 more open roster spots. 2 of those are going to be bigs, I imagine, or at least like big-bodied wings, and then also a kid down low. So we'll see what happens, but I'm begging you guys not to freak out yet. Trust the process. We'll see where it goes, and then we can all have that conversation later. But as of right now, we will get there together. I promise you that, and we will talk about Kansas State basketball more going forward. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys watching. Thank you so much for watching the video breakdown for both players. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Go Cats!